message to heal your soul. And I want to talk to you guys about your inner child. Your inner child is to be loved. When you neglect them, you're neglecting yourself in the present moment. Now, this doesn't resonate for everyone, but for a lot of people, our inner child were neglected growing up, whether it was by, our own family, the people closest to us, like our parents, siblings, friends. We've been neglected, at a young age. So, Spirit, speak through me. We have to give ourselves compassion. We have to allow ourselves to, live through our inner child. When you live through your inner child, doing things that your inner child loved, you are able to be genuinely happy. Growing up, some of us, like, I can say that myself, I was dimmed, as a child. My parents were, embarrassed of me. And, they dimmed me because of that. Because they couldn't, be their most authentic selves. Even as a little kid, I was dimmed, and it followed me into my, adulthood, even as a teenager. So I dimmed myself in that manner, not knowing that that was the thing that was hurting me the most on my life path. I was just unaware, I eventually healed my inner child by doing this meditation. Doing that meditation, and not just once, a few times over the course of 4 months, 3 months. Just because I hadn't even made a connection with my inner child. You have to connect with your inner child and go back to really who they are. I want you to really do that meditation and just sit for a little bit with yourself and your inner child. They need that nurturing. Because if you restrict that nurturing and that affection and, the validation that you so needed, the emotional validation, you have to give it to yourself, my love. Because nobody else will. And for me, nobody else has. So what I chose to do was really nurture her myself. And I remember in the midst of the meditation, they was like, how does your inner child look? I remember before I really began to nurture my inner child, she looked very sad in the picture of my mind. And that made me feel bad, for sure, because she was lonely. Because I wasn't nurturing her. I wasn't seeing myself in the light of my inner child. When your inner child sees you for you now, stepping into the things that you love, that makes them so happy, and that makes you so happy, and it fulfills you. I want to also talk about how when you're letting yourself do the things that your inner child, used to love to do, you are quite literally fulfilling yourself completely in a way where you're making yourself feel better. You're making yourself feel better about the things that you didn't allow yourself to do once, at once upon a time. When you release shame and embarrassment, you are relieving your inner child, because that's all they knew for some of us. That's all they knew. So when you're able to let that go and then embrace your inner child, nurture them, give them the compassion and grace that they deserved when you needed it growing up, by just simply doing the things that, you loved as a kid, or eating the foods that you loved as a kid, watching the shows that you loved as a kid, playing the games that you loved, growing up. Anything that, reminds you of childhood, that will really make you feel so good. Just waking up one morning and just watching, cartoons, that'll make you feel great. cartoon that you used to watch as a kid. That would make your inner child feel so much better, you know? That's a way of nurturing. Just bringing up the reminiscence of the times where you felt, connected and safer and happier. As a kid, I had to grow up fast, and I practically parented my own parents. They would push their problems and their traumas onto me, and then they would treat me poorly because of things that they were going through. And then they would silence me. I remember my daddy used to tell me, he used to say, "Speak up or you'll never be heard." And then he would silence me. So that was just completely, going against exactly what he was saying. And then it left me in a stagnancy and confusion. So I never used to voice myself. I would cover up my ideals. I would be quiet, I wouldn't, be as happy, as loud, as joyful. And it was really invalidating to my heart, my soul. And I feel like they knew that, but it didn't really matter to them. So that's why I had to leave away from, my family. And I had to allow myself to feel loved again, if you get what I mean, if that resonates with you. Growing up fast is never a good thing, and I know it resonates with some people. You are left with burdens on you, having to carry these burdens, and nobody knows but you. Nobody can really save you but you. There's a ladybug right there. I want you guys to just nurture yourself. Nurture your inner child. Tell them that they are safe. Tell them that they are loved. Tell them that everything is okay. And then show them that. You can even give yourself a hug. It feels nice to really give yourself a hug. You could do like this. That feels like a hug. Hugs are really important too. That if you don't receive hugs, then it's not good for your health initially. And growing up, I never used to receive hugs from my mom in my life. It was just not a thing. And I was actually pushed away at one point when I tried to hug my mom. And that really scarred me. It made me feel so detached from all emotional experiences. And for a long time, I was really cold. And I never expressed myself because I never was able to. I just went about my life in a cold, detached manner from my heart. My heart chakra was completely closed. It was sad, but I didn't know what sadness was because since a young age I was numb. Now that I'm nurturing my inner child and loving her and, doing things that make her happy and hearing her, meditating and being with her visually in my mind. Literally, I want you to do that and just see the difference of how you feel. You feel much more at peace with yourself, You have to see yourself in the light of your inner child. They will be so proud of you. They will. I promise. They'll be so proud of you to see how far you've come and even the fact that you came back to even acknowledge them and make them feel better. I want you guys to do that. I love you guys. If you feel called to, if it resonates with you and if you think that it will make you feel better, I say definitely do it. It's just a great thing, to make your inner child feel much better. That's making you feel better in the end. I love you. Okay, bye.